Hey, today it was not my plan. I actually wanted to read another story from this book, but I don't know, it came over me and I thought that was a great idea today. I want to, let me see where it is. I want to read a book, a story that's called The Master. It's actually not the other story that I said I wanted to read, but I don't know, it just came over me and I really want to read it. so here we go. There must be a reason. Once upon a time, a master was talking to a crowd of people, and his message was so wonderful that everyone felt touched by his word of love. In the crowd, there was a man who had listened to every word the master said. This man was very humble, and he had a great heart. He was so touched by the master's words that he felt the need to invite the master to his home. When the master finished speaking, the man walked through the crowd and looked into the eyes of the master and told him, "I know you are busy and everyone wants your attention. I know you hardly have time to even listen to my words, but my heart is so open and I feel so much love for you that I have the need to invite you to my home. I want to prepare the best meal for you. I don't expect you'll accept, but I just had to let you know." The master looked into the man's eyes, and with a beautiful smile he said, "Prepare everything, I'll be there." Then the master walked away. These words, the joy in the man's heart was strong. He could hardly wait to serve the master and to express his love for him. This would be the most important days in his life. The master was going to be with him. He bought the best food and wine and found the most beautiful clothes to offer as a gift to the master. Then he ran home to prepare everything to receive the master. He cleaned his entire house. He prepared the most wonderful meal and made the table look beautiful. His heart was full of joy because of the master would soon be there. The man was waiting anxiously when someone knocked on the door. Eagerly he opened the door, but instead of the master, he found an old woman. She looked into his eyes and said, "I'm starving. Can you please give me a piece of bread?" The man was a little bit disappointed because it was not the master. He looked at the woman and said, "Yes, please come into my house." He sat her in the place he had prepared for the master and gave her food he had made for the master. But he was anxious and could hardly wait for her to finish eating. The old woman was touched by the generosity of the man and thanked him and left. The man barely finished preparing the table for the master again when someone knocked on the door. This time it was another stranger who had traveled across the desert. The stranger looked into the man's face and said, "I'm thirsty. Can you give me something to drink?" The man was a little disappointed again because it was not the master. He invited the stranger into his home and sat him in the place he had prepared for the master. He served the wine he had intended to give the master. When he left, the man again prepared everything for the master. Someone knocked at the door again. When the man opened the door, there stood a child. The child looked up at the man and said, "I'm freezing. Can you give me a blanket to cover my body?" And the man was a little bit disappointed because it was not the master. But he looked into the eyes of the child and felt love in his heart. Quickly he gathered the clothes he had intended to give the master, and he covered the child with the clothes. The child thanked him and left. The man prepared everything again for the master, and then he waited until it was very late. When he realized the master was not coming, he was disappointed. But right away he forgave the master. He said to himself, I knew I could not expect the master to come to this humble home, although he said he would come. Something more important must have taken him elsewhere. The master did not come, but at least he told me he would. And that is enough for my heart to be happy. Slowly he put the food away. He put the wine away, and he went to bed. That night he dreamed the master came into his home. The man was happy to see him, but he didn't know that he was dreaming. Master, you came. You kept your word. The master replied, Yes, I'm here, but I was here before. I was hungry, and you fulfilled my need for food. I was thirsty, and you gave me the wine. I was cold, and you covered me with clothes. Whatever you do for others, do for me. The man woke up, and his heart was filled with happiness, because he understood what the master had taught him. The master loved him so much that he had sent 3 people to give him the greatest lesson. The master lives within everyone. When you give food to the one who is starving, when you give water to the one who is thirsty, when you cover the one who is cold, you give your love to the master. I think it's a very beautiful story that there is a master in everyone. I hope you liked it, and comment what you think about the story. I really love it, and I love the thought of that everyone is a master, and everyone, we should give what we have to the one they needed it. Thank you so much for today, and keep being connected.